This one goes out to all the old school metalheads. Today, much like Corrosion of Conformity, I'm going to be reviewing an album by another band that I've never heard anything from in the past. And I must say, I really need to listen to more bands like this. I mean, first we had the Corrosion of Conformity album, No Cross, No Crown, that was excellent. And now we have another early potential Album of the Year candidate in Saxon's Thunderbolt. Now, Saxon, for those of you who may not know, is a band straight out of the new wave of British heavy metal. They were getting started back when Iron Maiden was first starting to make heads turn. I mean, early 80s, maybe late 70s even, pre-Metallica, pre-Slayer, pre-Megadeth, pre-all of that. And they haven't stopped since. They were one of the many bands who first influenced bands like Metallica and Slayer to start cranking out the awesome thrash metal that they do. Well, okay, Metallica's mid-90s discography notwithstanding. Again, I haven't heard them before, but after listening to Thunderbolt, as I said with Corrosion of Conformity, I'm very glad that I finally did. Now, I've never heard of their label, Silver Lining Music, before, but their roster, at least according to the Metal Archives, carries a couple of metal heavy hitters besides Saxon. Their label mates, Morbid Angel and Annihilator, both released albums of their own last year. Now, those albums have gotten mixed reviews, and I haven't gotten a chance to listen to them yet, but the fact remains that this label has 3 groundbreaking bands in metal. You have one of the original NWO BHM bands in Saxon, you have death metal pioneers Morbid Angel, and you have one of Canada's biggest thrash metal exports in Annihilator. Now, as far as Saxon's new album goes, it's amazing. It carries just the right balance of power and precision, and the hooks will dig into you and bring you in. It's almost like listening to one of Halloween's power metal albums, what with Biff Bifford's vocals and the guitar leads. It really showcases how NWO BHM has influenced different forms of metal. You know, there's power metal stuff in there, like I said, with Halloween, or Gamma Ray, or Blind Guardian, or some bands like that. There's speed metal stuff in there, and dare I say, maybe even a little bit of groovish type metal, you know, something like Pantera would do, or even Lamb of God, maybe without the rougher vocals, but still, it is there. All in all, the songwriting is absolutely outstanding. The melodies and riffs were both very catchy and very well written musically. Now, a lot of times, I find that metal bands will focus more on either one or the other. You know, either the riff will be too catchy and not well done musically, or vice versa. Saxon has nailed the balance on this album. There's even some vocal harmonies on this album. That's right, vocal harmonies on a metal album. Now, the song The Secret of Flight features a chorus that has not only Bifford's voice, but a lot of backing harmony as well. And it makes for a dynamic and very catchy song, and a very good song, much like this whole album. All in all, the songwriting and vocals, it just works here. Saxon has done an excellent job balancing the scale that holds both vocals and music. Some bands can do it, some bands can't. Saxon has done just that on this album. Now, personally, I don't believe in anything like a perfect album. There's always room for improvement, so if I had to criticize something, and this is getting very nitpicky here, it feels like the lyrics on the album, especially towards the back half of the album, are a little early 80s metal cliche, where all they talk about are, you know, wizards, magic, defending the honor of heavy metal, being on the road, stuff like that. Although, I must say, the song that they wrote all about the life of a roadie is, it's awesome. Also, I felt like their drummer, he fell back on the 8th note double bass pattern a little bit too much towards the end of the album. Like, he couldn't figure out a new foot pattern to play. Other than those minor things, the album is fantastic. A definite Album of the Year contender for me. Saxon has released 22 albums, and on this latest one, they definitely make it count. They pushed out a very quality album, and I know I'll be doing my best to purchase a copy soon. Saxon's Thunderbolt gets a 98 out of 100 on the yearly perfection scale. So, thanks for watching. Click like, leave a comment, subscribe. Next week, I can tell you, I might be a little late with the upload, and I might be a little winded, because next week's review is going to be the new 3-hour-long Therion album, Beloved Antichrist. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.